Welcome to the RC Roundtable podcast, where we discuss the latest RC hobby news, events, model reviews, and a whole lot more.
Who's doing this part?
This guy.
He's not feeling great, so I think one of us should do it.
Welcome. Each take turns. Hello, welcome to the RC Roundtable podcast. Fitz is quiet.
He's not very Fitz-like at the moment.
He's not 100% Fitz today. We only have, what do you think, 60% Fitz today?
At best.
But man, he's a trooper. He's gonna help us out, get through some stuff. So Fitz is here. I'm here. Terry's here. Welcome to the RC Roundtable. Welcome to the year 2024. I don't know if it has meaning. I don't know if there's anything dreaded for 2024. Oh, it's election year.
Oh,
anything else? Anything else? Nostradamus has written about us.
Well, what about the Chinese calendar? What's it the year of?
Oh, what's the animal?
I think the dragon.
Is it the year of the
really?
dragon?
I believe so. Yeah, in about another 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe that's something we got going for us.
Right. So that's how we get Fitz to speak up. We'll ask about Asian culture or
and food
or Japanese planes. So
and cartoon characters.
Yeah. We'll just poke him every now and then with one of those.
All right. So if I hadn't said it yet, it's episode 189. And welcome to our show, both for those of you listening and those of you watching. There will be some show and tell. So again, those of you listening need to pull over, stop your audio podcast, go pull up on YouTube or Facebook. We do have a little bit of some slides to show you guys, but hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody got to fly either on New Year's Eve into the New Year's or flew on New Year's just to get a head start on everything, including your black-eyed peas and your sauerkraut and whatever other superstitions you have about taking a step into the New Year's. In fact, I will add to that, a friend of mine on Facebook, she posted one of their traditions to watch the movie, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but Hudsucker Proxy. And it's kind of like 2, 3, 4. It's a Wonderful Life. It's not necessarily a Christmas movie, but there's Christmas, in it. Like it's a Christmas time. It's the same thing. It's a transition from New Year's in the movie, but it stars Tim Robbins. Gosh, I can't remember how many years old it is, but it's a fun, entertaining movie by the Coen brothers. I find it enjoyable, and it just so happens she and I almost every year watch it on New Year's Eve. So that was a tradition I did. Anything else for you guys?
Well, hold on a second. The last movie recommendation you gave me was, what's the one about the rabbit? Harvey? Was that
Harvey,
it?
yeah. It was James Stewart?
Yeah. Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Watership Down?
So, so I take
Benji,
your movie recommendations with a grain of salt.
Oh, man. You don't like imaginary animals?
That one didn't do it for me. Or my whole family watched it. Like, no, Lee says it's great. Trust me.
I don't know if I said great. I will go back. It's highly entertaining for me, but I guess maybe I was drunk at the time. So.
Were you in a stage production of that or something?
No, but I'm familiar with I've seen a stage production of it.
Okay. You seem to have some abnormal connection with that show.
Okay, no. So sorry if anybody else took my advice and watched Harvey and just felt very sad afterwards.
No, other people might love it. It just did not do anything for me.
Okay, so I was asking you, did you have any other traditions? I don't know. Don't make that your New Year's Eve tradition, is to watch Harvey. Oh. Did you have anything? Did you do anything else for New Year's?
No, all the weird food things that people do, we've got some of those, but that's about it. We don't do anything crazy. What about Fitz?
Our tradition is to take delight in the Battle of Baghdad that is our neighborhood on New Year's evening.
Hit the deck! Going to the new storm shelter you created?
They like their fireworks around here, and it's some pretty impressive stuff.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's about it.
And you don't have any pets going crazy, right?
What was that? I can't hear you, Fitz.
But yeah. No, but a friend of mine does. He lives close by, and his dogs go crazy.
Yeah.
I think they freak out.
I always grab my Jeep and 50 caliber machine gun in the back and just help them out in fireworks.
No, No.
Oh
no.
gosh, no. It was loud here too. Our neighbor behind us, he goes nutso. I don't approve of the mortar shells he uses. They're probably like 3-inch mortar shells.
Right.
I haven't checked my windows. I better check all the windows in my house, make sure they're still in one piece.
Yeah, I found bits and pieces of rockets in previous years in my yard and driveway and stuff.
Yeah, it's not unusual.
Yeah.
It's the price of freedom.
Yeah, America.
So do we want to talk about flying New Year's time, or are we saving that for later?
No, whatever.
I have seen some posts on Facebook of people who fly across the transition into the new year. Like they take off at 11:55 and fly when the clock strikes.
Into the New Year's. Our club did that. I was asleep. I actually I was not conscious during the crossover, so I was not feeling well, and I needed to get up real early to take my wife to the airport. But that leads into the segue of me and Fitz. So do you want me to keep talking? Or
But just one thing. I think my old club in the Fort Worth Thunderbirds had an ongoing event every New Year's. They had I forgot what they called it, but it celebrated. You fly on New Year's Day, no matter what the weather. So they would have a gathering, a long-standing gathering.
Well, we'll pose this question to all the listeners. Are there any strange non-flying New Year's traditions you do? And what do you do for flying on New Year's Eve/day? So send us your emails, contact@rcroundtable.com.
maybe we can add that as a poll. We could make a list of things, like Frozen. Did you attend a Frozen Fingers event? Those people who fly up north, like you, Terry.
I do, and I did.
Oh, well,
mine was on New Year's Eve at my club here, and it was cold. We've had really unseasonably warm weather the last few weeks. Whatever snow we had went away. The lake behind my house was frozen, but then it thawed out. There's no ice there anymore. But New Year's Eve, it got cold again. No more snow, but it got cold and windy. It was a miserable day to be at the flying field.
Don't you have a heater or something you put over your transmitter, or a glove or something?
Yeah, I've got our buddy Sparky got me a transmitter mitt when I moved up to Buffalo, and that thing works great. But still, just standing out in the cold when there's wind blowing, it'll get to you. But a group of us went out there and we cooked some booyah. If you don't know what booyah is, it's a form of chicken soup. I don't know the genesis of it here, but it has special meaning. It's another one of those black eyed peas and collard greens and all that sort of thing.
Didn't know that was a food.
Right? Neither did I till I moved here.
Don't you say booyah, baby, booyah? It's a good thing.
So we had booyah and the sugary treats, and we hung out. We have a clubhouse with a heater, so we hang out in the clubhouse for a while, go outside and fly a little bit, and go back in and warm up. So it was fun. But I heard you guys did a little something else.
Well, I'll lead into it. So I mentioned I went to bed early because I had to take Cindy to the airport. She attended the Sugar Bowl unfortunately it's over, but to hopefully see the Longhorns beat Washington. And it didn't turn out the way we hoped. It was a good game, so that was good. But she and her girlfriends went out there. So at 3:30, my wife woke me up in the morning.
A.M.?
Yeah, 3:30 a.m. Wow. And then foggy. It was really foggy. But she needed to get to the airport by 5. So through the rain and the fog, we got there. And I dropped her off. And then I needed time to kill because I asked my wonderful buddy and your friend too, folks, Fitz Walker, if I could come pay him a visit early in the morning. Fitz is like denying it. It's like, I didn't ask you to come early. I said no. But I drove over to his house. I stayed in his driveway a little bit so I didn't wake him up right at 6, or before 6 rather. And so I headed over there, chatted with Fitz, and Fitz had something for me. So do we talk about that first? Do we stop and talk about that, or do we just cut over to the flying? Fitz?
We go order of chronological order.
Chronological order? Yeah. All right. So why did I decide to go to Fitz's house? You may ask. And
you owed you money?
Actually, I owed him money. He got money. Oh. So for those of you not watching, on the screen right now are 2 photos. And this is an estate sale from late Nick Stratos, who passed away a couple of months ago. And they put together his airplane collection up for sale. And a lot of his big, recent warbirds were picked up pretty quickly, but this was a shed that was out back. And I think, Fitz, you could probably tell more about this photo and these aircraft than I can, since you were there.
Yeah, for the most part, I was focusing on just 2 planes, but he still had quite a few planes in various conditions, various models. You can see the Zero, was that PT-17, I think? Oh, Stearman, I believe.
Stearman on the right, yeah.
On the right, yeah. And on the right photo, you can see the Taylorcraft. And I'm not sure what the blue plane was. I don't remember. So yeah, a mixture of biplanes, some older stuff, and a few electrics, and just a few kits of various things. Well, mainly
large as well.
What's that?
Were the electrics also giant scale?
No. We had what was it? A T-28 foamy in a box, and very few electrics, just a couple of ones there. Mostly gas power stuff, some sort of stunt plane, a few kits of scale, mild scale planes, like I don't know, it was brain is seized up, but just a sort of remnants of some more milder flying type stuff, low wing, like a Lazy Bee, maybe not a Lazy Bee. What's those things called? But anyways, see, just kind of a mix. There was a really nice biplane. It was a Pitts that a guy was picking up as well. It's not in the photo. And is that a ultimate pipe? I think right next to the Zero.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit pipe. So I didn't spend too much time looking at the other planes. I was there for Zero and for the Taylorcraft. And there you go. That's what we picked up.
Well, there's one more. Go ahead and add the other plane that you got.
Oh, so I was in the workshop looking for some stuff, and I saw at a table, speaking of electrics, a little Corsair. And I said, hey, what do you want for this? And we negotiated a really good price. And at first, I thought it was a Flying Styro Corsair, but after further looking at it, I believe it's an Alpha Models Corsair.
Also good?
Yeah, very, very light. It had a brushless motor on a gearbox, which was interesting. Old 72 megahertz receiver in it and some servos, so that'll have to be kind of reworked over. But it was still in fairly decent shape, just dirty. Mm-hmm. I thought for a little park flyer or something would be pretty neat.
I still have my Alpha Corsair. I still like flying it.
Oh, that's good. Good to know.
Does yours have a gearbox also?
What's that?
Does Lee's have a gearbox?
Oh, no.
An Outrunner? Okay.
Mine's a Himax Outrunner.
Yeah, I thought it was brushed at first, and I took a really close look, and no, it's a brushless. Just must be really, really early brushless.
And it might be a Himax geared.
Or I would guess an MP Jet from Hobby Lobby.
Okay. I just don't remember. It was kind of buried in there. I was more looking at the wires.
All right.
But anyways, so I picked up the Zero as well. I believe it's a yellow aircraft Zero, from what I was told.
Really?
Yeah. It's got fiberglass fuselage. And the wings are, I think, foam balsa sheeted with I think it's a DLE engine 50, maybe 50 or 60. I forgot exactly the size. It had been flown and then apparently damaged in some sort of landing accident or something, and then mostly repaired, but it still needs some TLC and repainting and that kind of stuff.
From this angle, it looks like the landing gear struts went through the top of the wing.
That's probably what happened. Yeah. So the struts look okay. It's air retracts, but all the mechanisms are there. The quick releases, the valve, the tank. So it just needs the landing gear to be bolted back on and the plumbing gone through, and and see if the engine still runs and get that up and running. But it still needs big Zero. I don't have a big gas Zero like that. So
you're going to keep the air retracts in it?
Yeah, for now. I'll see how they work. If they work decent enough, I'll keep them. I was told, I forgot the brand, but another guy was there looking. He said the retracts were actually a really good brand. They're real beefy and oleo struts and stuff. So
what's the span on this thing?
I measured an 80-inch.
Okay. Do you guys know if it's the same scale as the P-38?
No idea.
Lee's P-38, which is right behind him, also a yellow aircraft, all fiberglass.
Oh.
You mean Chase Fitz out of the sky?
Something like that.
Hey, but P-38s were in the Pacific, were they? I don't think they were.
P-38s in the Pacific?
Excuse me?
Primarily.
He must be on drugs.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking P-47. Sorry. Brain not functioning.
P-47s were out there too?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
not in great numbers.
okay.
But yes.
He's on the NyQuil.
That's a good point. The P-38, yeah. It'd be interesting. They are the same scale.
All right, so I'll try to. Well, I'm not going to speed up the build for mine just so you can fly with me, but I'll have it done. Just don't crash yours until then.
Saying you're going to speed it up suggests you've started.
I'm not. You know what? I have never hesitated on my answer. I'm not starting the P38 until I'm ready to start the P38. When I can guarantee, focus, attention, and get it done, say maybe 3 months. So,
okay,
that's going to be a project, and nothing else will be on my table. If my name's not Lee Ray, but let me speed things up here. So Fitz, it was funny because I saw the listing for the estate sale on the Texas Warbird Thunder Facebook page, and our buddy Barry Rayburn put a listing for all these other aircraft that hadn't sold yet. And I always wanted a large Cub gasser. Ever since I had my Corsair done, I was like, I really like gasoline engines. I think it'd be nice to have a big gas Cub. And a friend gave me one, an actual Super Cub that was damaged, heavily damaged with a Zenoa engine, but it's in the attic. It's pretty rough shape. So when I was scrolling through the images, I saw this Taylorcraft, and I was like, man, it looks like a gas engine. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. And I asked Barry for a price. He said, well, just what do you want to pay? And I told him. He said, okay, they'll take it. I was like, man, that's a good deal, for the gas engine and all that. So I had made plans to go, but Austin's in town and we had some other things to do. And I just happened to talk to Fitz and said, hey, buddy, did you see this estate sale? Are you thinking? And he's like, oh, I already bought something. And then I immediately went, did you buy that Zero? And he was like, yep. So we were on hive mind frequencies. And I said, hey,
in your trailer.
Exactly. I said, hey, DM, do you think your car could fit another aircraft? My buddy Fitz was kind enough to go there and investigate further the Taylorcraft. And that was a long conversation. I wish I could have recorded it because that in itself would have been an episode, just me picking Fitz's brain while he was there in the shed looking at the airplane. But he said, look, it's really dirty. It needs some work. But he goes, on the whole, it's like a 6. But if you clean it up and you replace the servos, I'd probably give it an 8. And I was like, dang, that's a really good number for the price I was offering. But the only, and I say downside just because it's not what I was hoping for, the engine is not gas. It's a Super Tiger 3000, and it's seized. And it's a big 30cc glow engine, folks. And I have no desire to fly glow. And who was it I was talking to? It's like, how much was it you, Terry? Like, it was going to cost you $100 to fly that thing right. with the price of glow fuel.
Even with a friend who produces glow fuel, you can't afford it.
Maybe I just go through the Facebook marketplace and find an old weed eater, right? And just throw one of those on there. So I was a little disappointed, and I talked to Fitz. I said, I'm going to pass, but I said, I'll reach out to Barry and say, hey, Barry, it's not a gas engine. It needs some work. The struts are missing, which, by the way, it desperately needs struts. It's like kind of a requirement. This thing should not fly without struts. If you just look at the photos, you can see that there are some questionable wing connectivity issues. And Barry said, well, what do you want to offer without the engine? I told him, and he said, I'll take it. Or the family would take it. So I got a really good deal on the Taylorcraft. Fitz was kind enough to bring it home. I picked it up, yesterday at 6 a.m. at his house. And it was amazing. I can't, you putting that Taylorcraft in your car, Fitz, reminds me of us putting the Val in the Suburban with everything else we had in it. I'm just surprised that you could do that and the yellow aircraft Zero.
Yeah, got them to fit.
So I'll real quick show these photos. I was able to take it home and put the wings on. My neighbor's a pilot, and turns out his dad used to shuttle T-Craft around.
Cool.
Like he was what was it called, a shuttle pilot? I mean, they have another name when they...
Yeah, ferry.
Ferry, there you go. So his brother is a pilot, so he got his brother on the phone. We're talking about this model, and we don't know who made this. We don't know if it's a short kit. It appears to be, well, Fitz and I were looking at it, and he says it looks like some of those pieces might have been pre-cut because they're pretty nice. But I have searched and searched, and I cannot find any kit maker that makes it look like this, specifically one with a single window, and definitely one with a questionable wing attachment system as this. There is no spar. There is no one-piece spar that goes through the centerpiece to both wings. It is held on by that. I'm going to go back to a picture here for those of you looking. It is held together with screws, the struts, and those two pieces of plywood in the center section there. And yesterday, when I put the plane in my garage, I could tell that the right wing was extremely loose in that centerpiece. So there's going to be some work that needs to be done on it. But it is 108 inches, and I'm hoping a DLE 30 possibly, or is it RCGS? Fitz, is that the brand? 30, or they make a 38 maybe it would fit.
I think a 35.
35?
Yeah.
And get that sucker back in the air. And I'm a little disappointed the struts aren't there, but I guess the other side of that coin is I'm definitely going to reinforce this plane. So probably building my own struts might be the better method.
Out of rebar.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I told my neighbor. I said it's gonna need rebar for that thing.
Titanium composite.
Well, I don't know if this is actually the thing, but I just assumed on small general aviation planes like this, the right and left wings are removable, and they just attach it to the fuselage as a hinge, and then the struts are functional, like critical parts of the structure.
It could be, but the screws that hold the struts on are like only 3 millimeter. So it's pretty tiny. I mean, I'm not worried. I think I will sit down and I will investigate further and do a better job at reinforcing it, hopefully making it stronger, et cetera, yada, yada. But overall, the plane is not in terrible shape. It has some very old servos, high-tech 300s. And then and I know this is a conversation we've had before, but in a 108-inch wingspan, the aileron servos are Futaba S148s. And I'm just like, that's right on that servo's screaming when you're flying that thing around, shaking in a large engine plane like that. So, but I shall replace them.
Yeah.
But I think consolation, the 148 is probably the most reliable servo ever made.
I love 148. So please don't get me wrong. I've got them in some gliders and old planes in the back. So I do. And I have a couple new in package that I wouldn't sell because I know they're solid, but they're standard size. They're, 40 size. So not something I would necessarily put in a 108-inch wingspan.
Yeah. Well, a standard size digital should be plenty for that application.
Oh, yeah.
It could be. I have a couple of JR servos that I might throw in there. So we'll see. Overall, I'm pleased, and it could use a little cleaning, but I'm not too keen on doing that. I want to get to fly and see how it goes. But the goal was to have something I could use for a high wing hoedown event, or in this case, a giant scale gas event. So, and there you go.
So you did get the engine as well.
I did get the engine at sea, so I'm just going to remove it.
Right. And I wonder, is it one made in Italy or?
Yeah, I think the Super Tigers are made in Italy.
Well, I'm speaking way out of my knowledge base here, but I thought originally Super Tigers were made in Italy, then they transitioned to making them somewhere else. And so the Italian ones actually have some value, but the later ones maybe not so much.
Well, I may try to sell it, maybe get $50. I did see someone sell one on RC Groups for maybe 50. It was in way better shape. So, I mean, you say that, and maybe I'll find the right buyer.
It's probably a unique engine, and I think in general the glow engine market is pretty flat, and there's not much money to be made. But with some of these unique engines, like that marine engine that I got in the lot, and it sold for a couple $100, and I was surprised. So
yeah, two things: A, do you plan on seizing it? And also, we also remember that glow engines have more power to weight than gas engines for the same size. So.
And can you convert it to gas?
People have done that.
See why not? Yeah.
People have done that. I don't have a desire to go down that road.
All right. So just drop it off at Fitz's house. Let him sprinkle his magic pixie dust on it.
Make it use half a glow fuel.
No, but there is fuel specifically for a Super Tiger 3000. It likes this particular mix, but anyways.
No, I'm not intending. I wanted a gas. They were going down a totally different road, and then I'm going to be rebuilding the whole thing. No, might as well bought an ARF. So.
Well, I'm just thinking you might be able to recoup some of your investment by finding somebody who actually is interested in an old Super Tiger giant fuel sucker.
And I will be doing that. I'll be placing it out. So if you're listening and you're desperate for a Super Tiger 3000, email us, contact@rcroundtable.com. I know a guy that can help you out, but I probably will put it up for sale on RC Groups. Right. I don't plan on doing anything to it. I'm going to unbolt it and say it's as is. It's been in a shed for probably some time. So good luck. if you get it.
All right.
I have no story behind
So
it.
the image is not up anymore, but you had a picture of the Zero and the Taylorcraft. Are there any close-ups of the Zero?
No, Fitz didn't give those to me.
Okay, so there appears to be some sort of shelf above the engine. Is that a shelf full of lead?
I can't zoom in on this gallery image. Sorry.
Well,
Fitz, do you know?
I don't know. I didn't look at it that in depth.
You can't tell there either.
yeah,
Check on my phone real quick. I might have maybe able to zoom in.
By the way, I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but if you can tell on the Taylorcraft, the Super Tiger has a round engine mount that attaches to the back.
Mm-hmm. So it's not a beam mount?
No.
Okay,
Or
so
bolt pattern.
So I've got another picture I didn't send Lee, but yeah, it's clearly a shelf of some sort. It doesn't look like there's any weight in it, but it's a pretty big shelf. I don't know if we can.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me here. Listen. Yeah,
It's probably not focused,
Okay.
but
All right.
you can see there's clearly a shelf that's bolted onto the back of the firewall.
battery.
So,
Maybe could they put?
I don't know if it's battery or ignition.
Oh,
or,
the ignition module.
Yeah,
But they usually don't put them up that close. They tend to.
it could be
keep
the
them-
battery
Yeah, I'm going to guess it's the battery.
because Zeros usually need a whole bunch of nose weight, so I wouldn't be surprised if the battery goes there.
Yeah, I bet that's what it is. And a NiCad.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, there was a NiCad pack in the Taylorcraft, so that might help you with the age.
Slowly
use it, right?
pulsating,
Not
Becomes
leaking.
sentient.
not leaking.
It might be working. Who knows?
Oh, I just noticed it's got a pilot figure in there.
The Zero does?
Yeah,
Well, all right.
cool.
There's $50 right there.
Yeah, it looks a pretty nice one. It's got a flight jacket and helmet.
Well, congratulations to you both on your new acquisitions, your new giant scale acquisitions.
Yeah. So after I picked up the plane, shoved it in the back of my Suburban, Fitz and I went to Waffle House, had a very interesting breakfast with some very tired staff. And again, that's the special Patreon podcast between me and Fitz.
This was New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Okay,
early
this
New
was
Year's
the
Day.
morning after they'd been serving all the.
That poor lady looked like she was about to fall flat into my toast. she was like, dude. And Fitz was like, could you understand her? She had a really thick accent. Oh,
Yeah, it was only every other word I could understand. I was like, she's speaking English, right?
What kind of accent?
Southern. I mean,
Deep
Oh,
Southern.
really?
deep
Yeah.
South, deep South.
Huh.
It was entertaining. I'm glad I get to, I'm so glad I get to do stuff like that with Fitz, just to experience the world outside. But, but we had it was funny because we were talking about how when we went to Perry, we went to Waffle House, and that was a great experience, just, it's a nice little place to sit and chat. So,
All right. That's funny. If you guys ever pay attention to the RC Scrap Pile Facebook page, there's always a debate of Whataburger versus what's the other one? In-N-Out. And so that's just kind of an ongoing theme. So we'll have to get one, Waffle House or Denny's.
oh no, it's Whataburger, 100%.
Yeah,
I
actually
do not like In-N-Out.
I tried it in another state, and yeah, I thought it was just pretty not all that impressive. In fact, one just opened up really close to me, and of course the lines are around the block several times. Like, no.
Yeah. Well, up here it's Culver's, but I was saying since they have that debate, we can have Waffle House versus Denny's.
Sure, there's some people that love In-N-Out, so good for you.
All right. Well, that was good to me. We'll have to come with that. So after breakfast, followed Fitz over to the NASA JSC Flying Club. And on your screen is us. And if you can look in the background, it is pouring down rain. And his field is flooded.
Yeah. So I see you've got a twin timber there. Does it come with floats?
No, but they are optional. You can get some for it. Yeah.
So there
we
you
needed
go.
those.
It'd be good with floats because it has a differential thrust, so you can have no
Yes.
problems turning around and stuff.
I'm jumping ahead, but I'll tell you one benefit of water on your runway is it sure is a great break.
Yeah.
That timber comes to a stop when you hit a big puddle.
It cools the motor down.
It's all
All kinds of
refreshing.
benefits. Yeah.
So yeah, you're looking at the new El Presidente of JSC. So look at him in all his glory. Look at that guy. Look at that face. How could you not love the president of the JSC?
Yes. There's new leadership at the Johnson Space Center Rail Control Club. Gone is the impotent republic. Now enter the new era of the empire and of the glorious supreme ruler and benevolent dictator, Fitz Walker.
Great. Mike Leibel's going to come back and oust you. They're going to all beg for him back.
This was not in his campaign speech.
Exactly.
It comes later.
This is not
Typical
what you promised.
politician.
You need to learn that Senate. Go ahead,
We had
Fitz.
our own version of Crystal Knock.
You have to practice the senator speech. You know,
Oh, yeah.
try that out the next meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have to maybe start with "You rebel scum."
Well, congrats,
So-
Fitz.
Yeah,
it's a
congrats.
but it'll be interesting. I think we have our meeting this week, as a matter of fact.
And I want to say he
No,
was
next week.
already doing El Presidente things. He was taking photos of the flooding and the strange or lack of draining, and making a list of things to do. So it's a hard job. So for those of you out there that are on a board or you are the El Presidente of your club, we know it's hard work. So we hope your club appreciates all the efforts. And if they don't, well, then you just punch them in the face.
Well, Michael Leibel, the previous president, assures me that the job is not that difficult or invasive to your daily life. So we'll see.
Yeah, he did that role for a long time, right?
Yeah, I think we set up, what was it, 17 years?
Oh
Something
my
like that?
gosh.
Yeah, he did for a long time. That's why he stepped out and says, okay, guys, uncle, I've done it enough. Done my bid for king and country.
Right.
And so, and I was the only person to say, all right, I'll do it.
And just to squeeze in this, their next, well, I don't know if it's the next event, but the Warbird event is in April. And I have attended several of those with Fitz, and we've had a blast out there. So hope to see you guys out there for the Any Warbird event. And
Yeah.
we'll announce it later in future episodes.
Yeah, late April. So, yeah, so hopefully we can have it this time. It kept getting rained out.
That should be some sort of greeting card. Like sad Fitz staring at the
Like that
rain.
meme, the guy just sitting around waiting.
Oh, yeah. And sitting on the swing.
Sitting on a swing, sitting on some.
I probably should post
Nope.
this on like iFlyMA. It's like waiting for the rain to stop.
But that said, it did kind of clear up a bit
It
later
did.
on. Yeah.
Well, we did. We got flights in. In fact, here we go. So here's Fitz flying the Twimber.
So did you get your second Twimber flight, Lee?
I did.
Okay, good. Because you had to wait months for that first one.
I did.
Lots of coercion.
I had fun. I was at Joe Knoll, had a blast, and then I got to fly here. So I enjoyed it. Again, I will say I don't have any problems with it. I do like it. But if I had that in my hands or my Timber X, I would lean towards the Timber X.
All right. Well, this is a good looking thing.
Yeah, they're both good in different ways. So it depends on what you're looking for out of an aircraft.
If you're looking for super hard rubber wheels, this is the ticket.
Oh, yeah, those things are bouncy.
Oh my
Does
goodness.
Dubro make any large timber wheels or something?
They do make some larger diameter lightweight foam wheels.
Ah, maybe
Yeah,
that's
it needs
the
that.
word. They need a timber wheel. It just says timber on the package, and you just put on whatever timber you like. And but they sell like hotcakes if they're low bounce.
Yeah, low bounce twin timber wheels, so they're going to be making money.
Is that a 3mm axle?
I don't know.
If so,
They're already
there's a direct
assembled.
replacement.
I have to look. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Uh,
And there's your cartoon P-47, Lee.
Well, yes, it's mine, but Sparky, our buddy Sparky, Key Sparks, made this. I got it from him, from Best. He was selling some of his planes, and I have, for some reason, I mentioned this before. I have an affliction for P-47 Thunderbolts, specifically the Razorback. I like the Razorback model, but I now have 4 P-47s in my arsenal. So,
Really?
and yeah, isn't that crazy?
That snuck up on us.
It did. And this one, I had to replace the motor in ESC because there was some crazy screaming going on at Best. So I yanked it all out. I did put a lower KV motor in there, and that kind of sacrificed the flight performance here. And that's an 8.4 GWS prop. So I will increase the pitch on that. But that being said, full throttle or close to full throttle flying, she's fun. And Fitz even got his hands on her. So
Yeah. Those cartoon planes fly well. I've got a kit for the P-51B model that I need to build. But I've flown several of them, and they look funny, but they fly well.
That did. I mean, it was one point that I think maybe you were taking pictures, Fitz, and I had my hands off the transmitter, just flew right by.
Yeah.
So it's very nice. So thank you, Sparky, for that. I really do enjoy it. I'm glad I got the motor in there, and I'll change the prop out and give it another spin. That flies on 3S 700.
Yeah. Parkflyerplastics.com or
There you
something
go.
like that.
Plug in.
Yeah.
And should we announce what he just told us in the text yesterday?
No, let's confirm he wants it distributed to the world.
Everybody's going, what? Look at it. Stay tuned on episode 190. We'll reveal the answer.
Well,
That's how you build drama.
Buy his book. He's got a neat book on how to build with foam.
Building with foam. Yeah.
Still available. Yep. I've got an autographed copy.
I have
nice.
2 copies.
Oh, really?
I don't know why? Yeah, I think he gave me one, and I was like, I already have one of your copies. He goes, hey, take another one. I think it's because the one I had may have gotten secondhand from somebody, so it's an older version. And he had some updates.
Yeah, he does do updates from time to time. We'll do
I had the first printing, and resin was misspelled all through it.
It was spelled Elmers.
It was resign or something. It was an automatic spell check thing that changed all the words automatically for him somehow. So,
so yeah, that was fun. And yeah, we survived the rain. It was on again, off again. And then of course it was hilarious when we were done and we were leaving. Fitz turned his car next to me. He goes, that sun came out. And sure enough, we look over our shoulder and the sun just, ah.
Oh, as you're leaving, the sun came out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's symbology there.
Yeah. But we flew and we had a good time. And so we welcomed in 2024 in all its glory. So thanks, Fitz, for everything, for grabbing that plane for me, making that trip, and letting me come to your house in the morning.
Not a problem. It's a great day out. Thanks for coming out.
So we're recording this on January 2nd. So this was yesterday for you guys. I haven't flown this year yet, so I should fix that. But the last time we talked, I was telling you guys about that cobweb. And what I'm about to say has already been in a post on Facebook. So not news to some people, but Lee, you're making fun of me because I put old GWS servos in this thing. And I talked about how it had some weird pitch oscillations. I thought it was a loose wing mount. It wasn't. I went to flight the next time and I noticed, well, first of all, I have to confess fully here. When I first plugged it in, the elevator was acting kind of erratic. And then I wiggled the transmitter stick enough that it started working normally. I'm like, it's fine. I'll just go fly it. And then a couple minutes after flying it, it was doing the oscillations again. And as I flew by super slowly, I'm like, oh, the elevator's not moving at all. I could still control pitch with the throttle a little bit. So I was able to get it back on the ground. But I was like, dadgummit, Lee was right. I had a bad servo. So I brought it in. I had another old GWS servo, a Pico. This one was a Pico ball bearing. Swapped that in. I've flown a few times since then. It's been fine. So knocking on wood, that one will last a little while. So thank you for your insight, Lee.
And I encourage those of you who aren't on Facebook, first off, go visit and subscribe, stamp, whatever, follow the Facebook page, because there's some good conversation, because I rather enjoy the banter. Yes, some people were trashing me, but I did get some people defended me. I was like, you're so brave, Terry, to admit when you're wrong and then to do it again.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's always good conversation. So please do that, guys. Join in on the fun, have the conversation with us.
Yeah. So yeah, that one's small enough and slow enough I can fly it in my front yard with no problem. I just haven't done it yet. It's been a little bit windy the past couple of days, so once it calms down enough, I'll get out there and do it. And it's cold, so I'm just being kind of a baby about it. It'll happen, though. So what's next on our list? Have we talked about why we didn't record between Christmas and New Year's, which was our original plan, and we got right up to the crest of it and then had to bail out?
Felinas interruptus.
Yeah, exactly. Lee, this is you. Come on.
Is this me? Do I have to talk about it? Do I have to?
You don't have to give the full story, but at least give us the elevator pitch.
I have a cat, an orange cat, a big, fat, orange, fluffy cat. And then
Sounds
now
like
everybody else
Garfield.
is like, oh, I know this story. I know what's coming. My stupid cat, Cody, and maybe y'all have seen, I don't know if I've had, maybe I have to post a photo of Cody up on the, on our Facebook page. Cody he's stupid. He's really dumb. And I guess he just wants to commit suicide. But about 5 years ago, Cody got into, and maybe some listeners will know what this is. There's a waxy string, a twine that you use to wrap cables, usually in a network room. And you would tie communication cables with it, and you snip it, you tie. It's a very common, but it's very waxy. I have a roll of it. It has been in my office. Austin borrowed it, and then my cat decided to chew on it, and he chewed on it, and he chewed on it, and he chewed on it. And we didn't know anything was wrong until Cody was showing signs of, he was very lethargic. He was not doing well. And then we realized he was sick. So we took him to the vet and immediately had to have surgery. $2,000 later, they pulled out a 5-foot length of string from my cat. And he had to have other, resection. Yeah, 5 feet, guys. One whole piece. And they say he's on the Hall of Fame. And he recovered.
Shame or shame?
Yeah, probably shame. And so he's done this before. And he just now we had to Cody proof the house. So we have been very, very careful about string. And now you already know what's happening. But it's Christmas time. And so we had our bags and stuff down. We do not use ribbon to wrap presents anymore. All we do are bows, those little stick-on bows. He doesn't seem to be attracted to the bows. But we brought our boxes down, and we went to an event, came back, and my wife found a tinsel string roll on the floor next to one of the boxes. This is a box that just had bags in it. So this must have fallen deep down inside. My cat dug it out and chewed it, swallowed it. And we were freaking out for the first few days. And then 3 days later, he was throwing it up. So
what was the stuff that he ate?
Tinsel tinsel string. You tie bows with for Christmas presents. Tinsel, shiny, sharp.
It's like Mylar, shiny.
Well, it's rough. It's rough. I mean, it's you could give someone a nice rope burn if you ran that through their hands. And I need to speed this up because you know what? It's just it's a long, depressing, stupid story because it's a cat. But I ended up taking him to the vet for over 3 days, getting him IV fluids, monitoring him, x-raying him, cha-ching, folks. But finally, after several days, the 2 doctors that were monitoring Cody said, you know what? It looks like he might pass whatever in him. We can't be sure it's string, yada, yada. So just monitor him. Well, I'm saying this now. It's January 2nd. The next podcast is Cody's gone. He's still on watch because he has not been going to the restroom very well. I mean, so he's eating and he's up and he's not throwing up. So, he's alive and that's what's freaking us out. It's he's acting like there's wrong, but he's not been going to the restroom enough to say that we're out of the woods yet. So anyway, there you go. My cat had to go to the emergency room. I've been up several hours, with him and trying to take care of him. And we've all been sitting in with him, trying to make sure he's okay. So we're all on Cody watch, but he's still himself. There you go. I think I got to probably cut it short because it's kind of making me mad how much that cat cost me again. And he didn't even have the surgery. It's but that's a really tough surgery, man. That's a very invasive, dig in and pull the intestines out to pull string.
He's going to poop it out his bows though. So.
Oh man. And I laugh now because we are out of the woods, meaning we're better than we were. But unfortunately I have a family member who lost a cat for eating string. It's something that cats do. In fact, it was, the nice thing is that they were very sympathetic. It's unfortunately we have to put some animals down because it gets so bad or it's too late. By the time they people bring the cats in, they can't save them. So Cody's made it through. He's now down to 7. He might be down less than that. We don't know other things he's done that he just happened to, squeak by. So we might be running down on his lives, but there you go. There's the story.
All right.
Prayers for Cody poop. that he can get everything out.
You have to post updates on Facebook.
Oh, no, that's it. We're done. I'll send you a photo of him. He's a big fat. Oh my gosh. I'll add this though. This is great. So we had a wonderful staff at the veterinary. This is a new vet we went to because my doctor was swamped. And this one nurse, I came in the next morning because we had to keep sending him in the morning to get fluids. Told her the story. She was new. She didn't know the case. And she went down to grab the carrier and pick it up. And she dropped him because she was expecting him to be a little cat. And she must have let out some 4-letter word or something because we were like, okay. And she dropped him because he's 17 pounds. He's this big cat in a small carrier. And she was like carrying him back with both hands down the hallway. It's like, holy Moses. And unfortunately, he didn't like her very much because she kept saying, that cat just hissed at me all day. I was like, well, not where he wants to be.
That cat doesn't like anybody.
He didn't like you, Fitz. That's true. I'm so sorry. He does not like you.
I think he just ignored me the times I was at your house.
He doesn't like my mom. He's really, he's very affectionate to me and the boys. He tolerates Cindy. Cindy's not a big fan of him. So not that she hates him, just saying, Abby, my other cat, was way better. 100,000 times better than Cody. So
he can hear you.
He knows. I tell him every day. When I was in there with Cody watch, I was like, you're the worst.
Abby never ate string.
No, she didn't. No.
Speaking of vets, I got a haircut today. Thank you. But, this is a haircut place that caters to men. And so a lot of those places, they have TVs that play reruns of old famous football games or things like that.
The Man Show?
Or that, yeah. So when I got my haircut today, they had some veterinarian show, the Country Vet. And so I'm getting my haircut while they're delivering horses, like foals and stuff. What a bloody... I'm not going to say disgusting, but wow, this guy is shoulder deep in this horse, wrapping chains around a horse's neck to pull it out. And that's not what I was expecting to see while I was getting my
Maybe haircut. I should show them that and say, could you get the string out of Cody doing that?
Yeah.
Maybe that's how they do it. They just don't let us see how the sausage is made.
Right. They didn't even put on like the arm sleeves, the little arm condoms. He was just took off his shirt and just went in.
Well, I saw something like that on, you ever see Clarkson's Farm?
Oh, no, I know what you're talking about. So Jeremy Clarkson, same guy.
Yeah, it's really good. It was surprisingly good. I didn't think it was going to be anywhere near that good, but
okay. He
has to do something like that to a cow. I think it's giving birth or something. And hilarity ensues. And there's one point he's using a drone, too, to fly around his farm, and that was also pretty funny.
All right. So, hey, speaking of the devil, do we talk about the midair that happened a couple days ago?
Oh, my goodness.
Is there any real information to be had on that? So in Daytona, a Part 107 pilot flying a DJI Mavic contacted a helicopter. I think, was it a Robinson?
Yeah, I think a Robinson R-44, I think.
Yeah, something like that. It was doing a tourist flight, I believe.
Yes.
So I don't know any details about how it happened, but it was a legit 107 flight. Sounds like the guy did all the things he was supposed to do, but they still
except see and avoid.
This is a great conversation. I wish we could talk to more people about it. I haven't had a conversation outside of us or my son because Austin goes to Embry-Riddle. As soon as I told him the story, he has been researching it. And side note here, I also help monitor the Know Before You Fly Facebook page. And someone the police department actually tagged the Know Before You Fly. So we knew that they had said, hey, you need to go to this page and learn what you can do about drones. It's like, okay, now it's getting risky. But that conversation has really built up. And, there are people on both sides. And those who are stern, hey, all full-scale aircraft have right of way. And then there are others that's like, well, he had received his Lance approval. He was on a corporate job. He was where he should be. And this helicopter was under 200 feet. And from what it appears, the helicopter may have been landing. So it was in a landing pattern to this helipad. But Austin was saying that this helipad was not marked on the UAS data map.
Huh.
It's not within the controlled airspace. So I'm curious what you guys think. And if you want to strike up a conversation, maybe I'll post. And in fact, I will after this recording and you'll see it on Facebook. I'll put the link from the department and just see if anybody else wants to add their conversation to it. But as far as me, this is where we knew we would be. We would have a situation where, and in this case, we had the Black Hawk one in New York. So that was military. But I think this is the first commercial/passenger. Would that be correct?
As far as I know, and nobody died. The helicopter did not crash. It landed. And,
the Mavic did not.
I think it's dust.
And in defense of the pilot, the drone pilot, they were involved immediately. They did not run away. They didn't hide they were contacting the police department. They said everybody was, talking about the investigation. And so far everybody's against, or at least everybody's seems to be voting against the drone pilot. You should be seeing and avoiding. You didn't have a visual observer. He was alone. But how often, I mean, sorry, but if you're out in your patio, 200 feet is not very high. How often do you get a helicopter coming that low? And, and wouldn't he have heard it? That was the other question some people ask. I mean, usually when you're doing scene avoid, you hear that kind of stuff. And could he have heard it and just been hovering, maybe thinking he was clear?
Yeah, maybe he heard it and came down to 200 feet. He was much higher. It's insufficient data, so I'm hesitant to say too much without knowing more information. It could have been
never stopped us before.
I wonder if Blanco Lirio is going to do that on YouTube. I'll keep an eye open.
I think the key is, what can we learn from this and prevent it from happening again? What was the break in the procedures or whatever, and see if that can be, is that something they can address?
Yeah, I'm curious because the drone was hit with the blades of the helicopter. So I'm trying to think of any scenario where the drone starts out below. You would think it has to come from above and get sucked down.
Oh, right.
Maybe there's some other flow.
Could be if it's in forward flight, you've got the tilt of the main rotors too. Could have just
which is still coming from above, but
it still sounds like what they call the golden BB.
Right.
It's just that.
On the thing in New York where it hit a Black Hawk, did it hit the rotors there or did it hit the fuselage?
I don't remember.
I want to say it was rotors.
Okay.
Probably rotors again, yeah.
But I'm not sure. There are so many if, ands, all those scenarios that you could put in your head. And I go back to that situation, and please forgive me, I don't remember if it was this year, 2023 or before, but you had those two tourist helicopters hit each other. One guy was descending. It was situational awareness. I mean, that seems to be the key for this, and Texas Raiders crash, but it was situational awareness where the guy in one helicopter was coming down, the other guy was taking off, and they could not see each other.
All right.
And this is kind of the same thing, although the Part 107 pilot, he was looking at a screen. No way he could really see the surroundings unless he was keeping his eyes open. But, you have this. It's unfortunate. And then yesterday we had the airliner landing at the Japanese airport and ran over a Coast Guard aircraft.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's big in the news right now. Killed 5 of the passengers of the Coast Guard aircraft.
I did not see it. Well, they also had a big earthquake. I think that kind of over.
They were either coming back or leaving for service for that.
Okay.
So, but all the people on the plane survived. But again, situational awareness. It was dark in this case, and it's possible someone provided the incorrect clearance. But going back to the Part 107, this was what we knew could happen. Someone would be flying. And in this case, under regulations. I mean, this guy was doing, not knowing the full story, it appears to be doing exactly what he should have been doing. Called Lance, had his plan, was flying the flight, and for some reason, this pattern just crossed it. Their two patterns crossed each other. But I'm curious what y'all think. So look for that post there. And if not, if you don't go on Facebook and you want to share us your thoughts, or if you have some other information, go to contact@rcroundtable.com and let us know.
All right. You want to talk about your 3D printer stuff, Lee?
Sure, I'll jump on that. So during some of the Christmas downtime, I wanted to replace the stock gear on my multiplex Pilatus Porter. This was a plane I got at the Perry swap meet with my buddy Fitz. It was like I was heading out the door. Yeah, the landing gear. Okay. I have a Pilatus Porter right here. I'm not going to turn around and show you the gear, but it's a funky gear. It sits up real high. It's got the front struts you have springs on them. So that's the main, and the back just kind of keeps it straight. And the problem with the stock is it's cheap plastic, and the little pistons, I guess, will keep coming apart, and it's broken once or twice. And in fact, I've talked to somebody else. I think it was Tom, and he said, that's the weakest link of that aircraft is the landing gear. So as soon as they broke the last time, I was like, I don't need this. I don't need to be trying to repair it. I said, I want to just throw something in there. Well, if you guys happen to catch one of our most popular videos right now, my son's Aero Scout on 4S screaming down the runway, you'll know that because of problems we've had, or problems we've had with our Aero Scouts, we've ripped the gears off, so make them faster and more fun. So mine doesn't have gear, his doesn't have gear, and so I had his leftover gear. So I sat there and put him next to the Pilatus Porter, said, that would work. So if you're looking on the screen right now, you'll see that this is the Aero Scout gear. Actually looks pretty darn good in that stance, because that's about the same height that you have. Mm-hmm. And I 3D printed this little bracket that goes underneath the fuselage. It actually screws into, it's interesting. I'm not sure, but I think maybe the Pilatus Porter comes with an optional float system. so that it has slide-in gear slots, plastic, molds.
That's the multiplex version?
This is the multiplex. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so there are hard places to put in screws. So I'm probably not going to stick with these screws. I just did this to make sure I could work. I'll probably put in maybe 3/8 nylon, just so I have them as, what do you call it? Breakaway.
The sacrificial.
Exactly. But I 3D printed this. This is the 4th version. I did my best. I'm not great at this. In fact, Fitz and I, for a while yesterday morning, I was drawing out what my struggle was to make these ovals, and for the gear. But I figured it out, got it working, and it's pretty strong. So I'm happy with that. And
so, what material did you use?
That's PLA Plus.
Okay. We'll see. I might not stand up to the abuse. You might have to go with something a little more exotic, but I guess see how it works.
Yeah, well, guess what? The plastic before did not stand up to landing, which was not abuse.
I
personally would have tried nylon, and if you have issues, I can send me the files. I can print a nylon piece for you.
Nylon schmylon. PLA Plus. My Cessna 337 was under PLA Plus, so.
Okay. Right. Well, we'll see.
I'm kidding, Fitz. Yes, I can certainly send you the STLs if you want to try printing it.
And I'll do credit to you, Lee, for creating this, but I think I would have tried light ply. It looks like it's a plate with a slot for the aluminum gear. Is that?
Well,
that's so 20th century, Terry. Get with the time.
I get it. I know.
Well, what you can't see is that each leg is separate.
Okay, so one comes in from the right, one from the left.
Right, and there's an oval cut out in each leg that fits into a slot on the 3D print. And that piece on top holds those two down flush.
All right. So there's a little complexity in there that's hidden.
A little bit, not much. I mean, it's really basic, and I use Tinkercad, folks. I'm just not that guy. But it works, and it's pretty strong. In fact, I was holding the legs, and I was doing this with it just to see what would happen. It was definitely way stronger. Now, it doesn't flex as much as the springs, but again, it was so bouncy before, too, with the other one, and we'll give it a try. So just saying, for those of you who haven't tried 3D printing yet, and maybe there's some good after Christmas sales out there. What is the name of the printer? I've completely gone blank. It's the Bamboo?
Yeah, Bamboo Labs. X1 Carbon.
Do you have the one that's multicolored?
Yes.
So our buddy Joe Vermillion has one. He's printing like he's an insane man. Look. There we go. Hold on, let me show. He is printing night and day. That poor thing is draining the power from the grid in his neighborhood. So he loves it. And that has encouraged me to tell people, hey, you got to have fun with this and build more 3D parts. So I'm pretty happy with what I've been here. I've got my 337 finished back here. I haven't glued it together, but there's a lot of fun to have with 3D printing. And you might find one part you just can't find, but you can do it yourself.
Yeah, I just did the same thing. I made something I needed. It's custom made. I was able to draw it up, print it out. So it's really, really handy, especially if you learn to draw. That's the key, is be able to learn to draw. Even if it's just basic stuff, you'd be surprised what you can make just with basic shapes and stuff.
I want to give credit to Fitz. He's absolutely right. This probably should have been nylon. I don't have nylon. And the next level up is I have PETG. And I could have used that, but I just wanted to see how quickly I could get this printed and, again, make it fit and work, which it does. So if I do have issues where it's falling apart or something, I definitely would upgrade to possibly nylon.
Cool.
Speaking of 3D printing, you got yours working, Terry. Have you done anything else with yours?
No, I made those few parts I talked about last time for the RC10, and it hasn't done much since then. When I get around to actually building that thing, I'll probably print some more.
Alrighty. Wanted to go back a little bit. We talked about Fitz and I flying. We didn't tell anybody. We didn't announce it, but there is a video on our Facebook page that we did a live. I mean, like 3 people jumped in and then disappeared. But we had fun, so Fitz and I have a little short video of us flying in the rain. So if you haven't seen that yet, go check it out.
Was Fitz mic'd up?
He wasn't. I just had my phone. So, and in fact, there's a time when he's talking, I turn the camera on, I walk backwards and I put it right next to his head. I knew you probably couldn't hear it. So I was trying to stay as close as I could to him.
Yeah.
I'll remember next time. Sorry, folks.
All right. So on the next topic, I think, are prepared to do another 3-view on a 30-year-old model. I have one. Fitz has one. Lee just got one, but hasn't talked about it yet. So now's your chance.
Well, actually, I think if you give me a second here, I can pull up my screen here. Let me remove.
I'm drawing a blank. I don't remember.
I know what he's talking about. Let me see if I can pull up my screen here real quick. There we go. Let me do that.
That's the one.
Yeah.
All right. So again, Fitz is the best friend ever. Sorry, Terry. But there was an auction that I was looking at, and there was this Bearcat, and Fitz had bought. Well, Fitz and I decided to go halvesies because there were some extra parts in this one. So he said I could use some of that. So Fitz was kind enough to complete the auction and get it shipped. But if you look very carefully, there's some minor damage. This was broken. The whole horizontal is broken, and this is completely warped. I know it's fixable. We'll figure it out, but it does not appear to be flown.
For all you blind listeners out there, this is the Cox Electric Bearcat that I flew mine a few weeks ago. We figured out it has 15-foot lines. And if you remember, the control lines are actually conductive wires, insulated conductive wires. So you wear the battery on your belt, and then the control lines conduct power to the motor on 15-foot lines. And so that's short.
Yeah, so I already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull, depending on what you thought the right gauge was, because I was going to ask you, Terry, because I want to run, well, I think I mentioned this. I want to go brushless. You know, I kind of want to upgrade this thing. I know I saw your head tilt.
It goes fast enough with that brush motor.
That's why we do 3-view. We all do it differently. So my method is to go harder, more expensive, and more difficult. Yes.
You're going to make it a twin.
Exactly. It needs to, and a pusher. I think what we could do is run a braided fish line as the main line and then have another gauge run down it. So you have all the tension on the fishing line, and that way you could choose either. I mean, I didn't know how much power you thought this drew, but do you know what gauge this currently is? Is that like?
I would guess it's around 20 or 22. Oh,
it's
pretty small.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. So it's got a really big, thick jacket then, because I was holding that wire and it felt pretty thick.
It's got normal PVC insulation on it. So I don't know. Not to tell you how to do things. I was considering, the motor that's in there is a very heavy brush motor. I think if you go with a reasonably powerful brushless, you could put an onboard LiPo at the same weight and triple the power.
Yes.
And not have to worry about those conductive lines.
Just put a receiver in there, yeah.
Speaking of like old motors, we talked about the Corsair that he had, and like mine's a Himax Outrunner. I actually have a very tiny Himax Outrunner that maybe that would be adequate.
There's all sorts of Outrunners out there that will spin that 6.4 prop or 6.3, something like that.
And I think that's what I've got. So it would be an equivalent power ratio.
Well, it's probably better, but
I need a lot more nose weight.
I don't know if you do.
No, I mean, the Outrunner's so small and light.
Just so shove the battery up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then double the length of the control lines. You could fly that thing in your living room right now. And you're going to need it so you can sit down on the couch after a few laps.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
All right. So what repairs do you have to do? It looked like the tail feathers were a little bit tweaked.
The tail is cracked. It's got 2 cracks in it, and it's separated from the fuselage, and then the tail is completely warped. Now, I don't know. I haven't looked, but the way it looks like the tail, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you have yours handy?
It's on the other side of the room. I can grab it if it's necessary.
Well, I'm saying tail. It looks like the fin, because it's a one-piece fin, is molded into one side of the fuselage. And that's kind of unfortunate, because if it was removable, I could just heat it up and lay it between 2 books or something, and I could probably flatten it out and let it cool down. But if it's part of a fuselage, it's going to be a little trickier, because I don't know how I can split the whole fuselage to get the fin flattened. I'm sure I can figure something else, but it's like this.
Yeah.
It's really curved.
The banana shape.
But I do want to fly it. I mean, I do love it. In fact, I also need to get the Cox Cessna 150 that Fitz brought back to me. That son of a... He took it home. It started right up. It's like,
I cleaned it. First.
So I need to get that stuck in the air. So we have to have a control line day, Fitz, to go out to Scobie or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I still have another control line I haven't finished, and I've got the
that one from Israel.
Yeah, the B.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, we need to have a control. Fitz, let's have an RC Roundtable control line day.
Sounds like a plan.
And then we'll have Terry on a monitor.
RC round and round table.
Oh, look at you marketing.
Yeah.
Let's do it. That'd be
All
fun.
right. Well, speaking of unfinished Bearcats, what's up with yours, Fitz?
He posted a photo.
Yeah, I had to put it aside because I spent 3.5 days cleaning up the workshop. It took like 3 times longer than I thought it would be. But it's getting there. I'm surprised at the progress I made. The engine is mounted. Do I have the throttle servo in there? No, I need to hook up the throttle servo. Is I think one of the last things to do.
You've got a Sato radial in it?
Yeah, Sato FG90 radial.
Is it the gas?
Gas. Yep, gas. With a kilo ring, which is nice. And
Is that the exhaust?
Yeah, it kind of combines all the exhaust. It's supposed to sound a lot better with the kilo ring.
Cool.
And so it's actually fairly close to me being able to start it up. I just need to get the throttle servo installed and double check a few things. All the other servos are installed. They're ailerons, flaps, rudder, elevator. That's all done. There's not a whole lot of pieces to it. So, and I put the engine in, checked the cowls. It looks like everything matches up pretty good. So, yeah, I just had to put it aside for some other stuff. And so I'm not sure when I get back to it because I got some review models to work on. So,
all right.
Yeah, I was trying to. I'm looking at my monitor over here. I was looking for the photo you posted of it on your bench. So I'm not sure where that is. But you had a photo of it in the engine, I think.
Is it in Hobby View instead of Roundtable?
I thought so.
No,
I went to
haven't mentioned Hobby
Instagram.
View. Yeah, eventually will be a Hobby View video. I just haven't put this thing up yet.
So, do we ever figure out who makes that kit? ARF, whatever it is.
Yeah, it came from, what is it, Warbird Models here in Houston, Galveston, I believe they're located. And they donated it to the Roundtop event, and I won it. I forgot the name of the company. It's not CY Models, maybe?
Oh.
You have the box.
Nice. Yeah, it's in the other room, but barely the box. But it's fiberglass fuselage, sheeted wings. Really quite nice. Not a whole lot of parts to it. Navy blue with stripes. It's nice that the engine will fit right inside the cowl without cutting the cowl to pieces.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I just have to cut the bottom out a little bit for the exhaust. So I'm really looking forward to starting it up, see if the engine runs. It looks like the engine has been run a bit. So I probably need to double check. I talked to somebody at Joel Now, as a matter of fact, who had the exact same engine, and he gave me some tips on getting it broken in and tuned and stuff. So I have a few things I'll need to check before starting it up. And it takes a different mix of gasoline oil, too, than my other stuff. Uses more oil percentage than the other stuff. But I look forward to it. Was that?
What's the finished size of the airplane?
It's got a 87-inch wingspan, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. That's pretty big for a Bearcat.
Yeah, it is. It's a good size model. It's just a big one.
Right.
But supposedly fly well at the little. I don't know. I had a little electric one, and the previous club president has one. He seemed to like it. Around that same size. So we'll see. And it's funny because I'm not exactly a huge Bearcat fan. I'm nothing against them per se. Just I always thought the rudder looks funny. It's like a tall, thin rudder. Yeah, I thought it looked out of place on the plane. It's like
Fitz, were you at the Pearl Harbor? I think it was Pearl Harbor event where those guys who all get together and fly the same aircraft. They had the Bearcat, and I want to say one of them, the rudder came loose.
Ooh, no.
It was
not good.
It was something separated or the glue joint failed or something, but it was just vibrating, and they landed it kind of like that B-17 video that I was saying RC Geek, but Chris Wolf posted.
Oh yeah, I think that was from Bomber Field.
This is from Bomber, but it was a very similar situation where it was just looked. It was like, is your rudder vibrating violently, my friend? He's like, oh yeah, I'm coming in.
Yeah.
So check that before you take off.
Yeah, I will. I'll double check that. It's a pull thing kind of rudder. So yeah, hopefully I'll have it ready by the time we have to start getting the Warbird flying season starts up.
All right.
No rush. I saw your garage. You've got a lot of stuff on your plate.
Yeah, and that was after days of work, and it still needs a lot of work, but it's coming along. So.
All right. Did you change anything about your Wi-Fi setup out there so you can broadcast from there again?
No, I can still broadcast. I added another matrix. What do you call it? Not matrix. Another router thing.
Mesh.
Mesh, yeah, and a mesh router. We'll see.
All right. You'll have to give us an update on what it looks like now. Like, would the casual observer see a difference, or is it all in the eye of the beholder?
Not a huge difference. It would be probably mostly not a beholder. Some of the tables have been cleaned off now, so they're much cleaner, but there's still a lot of stuff. I'm still working on organization, and I had an idea about, we were talking about the pegboard.
All right.
And cleaning up, I had an idea about where I could put pegboard, and so I'm going to try that and see if it works.
In his bedroom.
No.
This bathroom has some space on this wall.
No, in the workshop, but we'll see. I'll let you know if it works out or not.
All right, cool. So what do you guys want to talk about next?
I'll just add this.
Oh, nice. That's Austin flying something full scale.
A Piper Arrow.
Piper or something?
Mm-hmm, Piper Arrow.
Where is he?
Where is he? He's here in Houston. My good friend Ryan, who has the Piper Arrow at an airport nearby, he called up and says, "Hey, can Austin go flying?" And before I could say, "Hey, Austin," he was out the door.
That's nice.
And
Looks
thanks
like
to my buddy. I'm sorry?
Looks like he got some stick time.
He did. He got 2 days of flying last week. So I promised him, just as this is a story. So he did really well at Embry-Riddle his first semester. And he knows that if he does real well his second semester, that he can have pilot license or pilot lessons, flying lessons. There we go. This summer, probably from David Wayne Hooks. So he's eager to do that. And like you said, I told him, I said, listen with your ears and not your mouth when you're up there. Just listen to Mr. Dusek, have him tell you stuff. And he said he did. He learned a lot of stuff from their flying. And in fact, he sent me a photo. I don't have it. I won't show it. He showed me a photo of the dash and he goes, "What do you see in this photo?" And I'm looking at the vertical, what do you call it?
The VSI, vertical
climb rate.
Yeah,
and it's in the whole complete negative. The bank angle's like 45.
It's falling out of the air.
Yeah, I was like, okay, why are you falling? Yeah, exactly. Why are you doing a dive? And he like, "You nailed it, Dad." I was like, okay. So they do maneuvers. They practice these maneuvers. So that's one of them, to do a nice deep turn. Kind of like what you have in tow pilots. When they tow up gliders and they separate, you have to do your little bank down. Yeah,
the tow pilot does a death spiral.
Yeah, well, we didn't call it that, but it's just kind of neat that he was sharing that with me. It was like, here we are. What course are we doing? So he's learning it. He's practicing it. So I hope that works out well for him. I'd like to see him get that.
All right, cool. Congratulations, Austin. Well, is that the right word? Way to go. Good job on your studies.
Yeah, because first semester can be real tough.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd like to add, if I didn't already, but I'm not sure if I'd put it in the last podcast or mentioned, but the group Tango 31 Club in Dallas, I know I mentioned in a podcast long ago. It's a group that these rich guys built a hangar and bought planes for these young students, but in high school age, to have them learn how to build planes and repair planes. And all these guys are, trainers and professional electricians and all that jazz, or mechanics. So these guys are all learning that. Well, one of their students who I've just happened to see, the photos they posted, everybody has a nickname. Her nickname's Ponytail, and they came to AirVenture one year, but she graduated Daytona in 3.5 years. And she's she's dual rated. She's private. She's a CFI. I don't know what mechanic level she's at, but she's like 1 or 2, but she's going for her commercial license. So I think that kind of stuff inspires Austin. It's like, it's right there. I know you're not an airline pilot. You're not going there for flying, but you get your flying done here cheaply. You understand the talk that's going up there. You can work directly with these guys. So I think he's got a future.
Yeah, that's awesome. So are you guys planning to fly this weekend?
Yes, Austin and I are going to fly this weekend because he leaves Sunday.
Oh, okay. Cool.
For 5 months.
I guess he's not coming home for spring break.
Nope, he's going. He made other plans, so we won't see him.
All right.
So suddenly he gets to be in Daytona during a fun time of the year.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still like it was in the late 90s, late 80s, early 90s, but we'll see. The place was a zoo back then.
I keep showing Fitz photos of all the girls that are there now. He's like, what's going on? This is
it's not the same school.
It's like, If you go to their Instagram page, you definitely go, this is not Embry Riddle.
It's AI. It's AI pictures.
I don't know about flying, but I am planning to go to a swap meet, and this one is in Beloit, Wisconsin, which is way down south, close to the Illinois border.
It is. It's where, I'm familiar with that place.
Yeah, so I went to a fun fly there late summer. That's where our buddy Phil Hinkle, that's his club. They're doing their first swap meet ever there, so I'm headed down there. And just coincidentally, you talked about Austin going back to school. Two of my two older kids who are in college, they're both headed back in that direction, same day. So I'm combining a trip to O'Hare Airport to boot them out the door, that I'm leaving there and heading over to the swap meet. So I'm going to get there late, but I still plan to be there before it ends. And then I think there's several other people from Green Bay planning to go there. Phil will be there. And there might be some other people that you know who are going to attend, but I'm not going to jinx it by saying it here. If they show up, then I'll talk about it afterward. So I'm looking forward to that. And maybe I'll come home with some new treasures, or maybe not. We'll see.
So Fitz is going to the Georgetown swap meet. I won't be able to go.
Georgetown Tejas.
Yes, the Georgetown Aero Modelers. It's January 19th and 20th. Guys, I hope you get to go. We typically go every year. We try. Fitz and I tend to hang out there. I've been maybe one time without Fitz because you were out sick or you were busy. So now Fitz is taking my place. So hopefully he'll do some live shows and show what's available. It's always fun to get stuff there. We've gotten stuff for Terry from there. So
cool. Yeah, we should probably talk about dates. This show may not be out before the Beloit swap meet. That's on January 6th.
Okay.
The Georgetown is January 19th and 20th. I sure hope we get this show out by then.
I will do my best. As the show is released January 21st.
Right. So, Lee, you're not going to be there, but Fitz is?
He says so.
If he recovers, look at him now.
The guy's sleeping in the chair right there.
He's passed out.
What? Georgetown? What? I'll buy it.
Yeah, sold.
$5.
I plan on it. Probably on Saturday.
That's my favorite story is Fitz raising his hand.
Oh, yeah.
And winning a bid.
Yeah, don't scratch your head when you're in the middle of it.
But Fitz was just stunned. He was like, I didn't buy anything. The guy goes, you raised your hand. He's like, I didn't. Don't do that, Fitz.
No, I won't do that.
I was having a seizure.
I'm going to the opposite side of the room.
Oh my gosh. So speaking of which, is there anything, since you all two are going to swap meets, is there anything we need to be looking for each other? Can I have Fitz look for a DLE 30 for me for my
I can't give anything that falls under the need category. There's some, it would be fun to have things, but I passed need a long time ago.
I do need an ignition module for the Zero.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Check out the specs for your, we talked about that because yours is unique. It's the more expensive one. Yeah.
Did you look at the ignition modules I have here when you were here last summer? I know that's before you had the Zero in hand.
Yeah, I didn't need it at the time, so no, I didn't. Do you have some?
I did. I can't remember who took them, if anybody. They might still be around.
If you have them, well, we can talk offline, see if it's
all right, I'll poke around and see what I can find.
Okay.
Can you possibly do a show for us while you're there, Terry? At least send some photos? Put some
Definitely, I can take photos. We'll see if I can do a live show or not.
Right.
I don't think I've ever done one of those by myself. I'm a little bit timid.
You can do it. But
when I'm here talking to you guys, it's like we're just having a conversation. When I put a phone in front of my face, even when I shoot my stupid review videos down here, when it's just me, I forget how to talk. I have no vocabulary. I pick my nose.
Okay, here we go. Here's the script. Ready? Hello, I'm Terry Dunn with the RC Roundtable podcast. Let's walk the swap meet. And you're done. See? They don't care. They don't want to hear you talk. They want to look at all the pretty planes. They're going to ask you questions. You're going to respond. They're going to say, hey, go back. What's that plane? How much is it? Tell them I'll take 5.
But you make it sound so easy, and I appreciate that it is easy for you. And once I do it enough times, it'll probably get easier for me. But right now, it just seems like this giant wall to climb.
Trying to give you the confidence. Come on, Terry,
I appreciate that. I see what you're trying to do, and
our listeners and our viewers are demanding substance. We need you to go show them what's out there. Show them the cool stuff.
Right.
Interview the people. Just ask the people to talk about their stuff they're selling, especially the weird models. Because gosh, we had what was that plane? I think. Wait, did you buy it, Terry or Fitz? Wasn't there a plane
octagon looking thing
at Georgetown? Yeah, where did you buy that octagon thing?
No, that was at one in Dallas. The name escapes me. The octagon one, octoplane. Yeah, that's in Dallas.
But did you buy the German plane that was at Georgetown last year?
German plane.
Was it 2 years ago? This really cool German aircraft. I'm going to have to go through the archive. I think I have photos of it. I'll go look.
Doesn't that sound familiar? But okay.
Hey, Lee, next time you're at Fitz's place, find that octoplane, sneak it in your trailer.
I saw it.
All
It was
right.
behind the DeLorean.
Yeah, it's in
Bring it
there.
up. If he hasn't flown it by the time you head up here for Oshkosh, just sneak it on the
Got
trailer.
I'll put it on the trailer. Yeah.
And then I'll release a video of it flying. Fitz will be, what? That looks like my plane.
The problem is I got to do surgery in order to get into it. So
Uh-huh.
kind of,
Uh-huh.
Right.
Mhm. Terry can do surgery too.
Yeah.
but yeah.
Hey, let him offload a couple of projects for you, Fitz. He's doing it for you.
I say that like I don't have a backlog. I've got a backlog bigger than Cody's intestines.
Yeah, how's that electric street going there, Terry?
Yeah,
exactly. Or the Eindecker.
Oh, you know what? Okay, so maybe we could end with this because we should do this for a little Q&A with our listeners. But I did make a 2024, list of things to do. Really, I don't call it the other one, but I need to finish that Spacewalker, that Kyosho Spacewalker.
Oh,
that I got from Richard. It is still like parts of it are on the floor of my workshop. There's a box with a new engine. There's the fuselage that's over there by the bathroom. So I've got to finish that because I've always wanted to get it done. I just keep putting it off. So that's on my to-do list.
And speaking of things to be finished, Lee, you and I were talking offline a few weeks ago, and I think it was you that came up with this brilliant idea of a bingo board that people could have in front of them during a live show. And we'd put things that they might encounter from us during the show, whether it's a weird thing we do or something we say, and they can try to get a bingo on their card. I made those the day we talked about it, or maybe it was the next day. I went and I generated some. So we need to close the loop on that and make them available.
So there you go, guys. Welcome to 2024. We're going to have a game. We're going to have game night on the RC Roundtable podcast. I'm sure we'll have giveaway items. Fitz will laser print or laser cut and 3D print stuff for us, right, Fitz? Right, Fitz?
I can.
Yeah. That's
Hey,
good.
did the caddies get to the recipients?
I sent them out. Have we heard anything from them?
Oh, I haven't. So,
Oh, well, if you got one of our caddies, please send them a note. Tell us what you think.
or just let us know you got it anyway.
Yeah, let's know you got it too, but I'm curious.
This time of year, shipping is a little unpredictable.
Yeah.
So, Terry, did you make it so it'll randomly generate different cards?
Yes, and I forget how many I made, but it was somewhere between 5 and 10. And it's the same categories, just shifted in different positions. So later on, I'm like, I could have come up with probably 5 more so that there's at least a little bit of difference. And
Yeah, you have to have cards. You don't have the equal amount of cards. You need to have like 10 more items that get scattered between different cards.
I didn't do that.
Oh, well, you should do that because you're almost guaranteed. But never mind. That sounds good. Yay. Thanks, Terry.
Yeah. There's no free space, if that matters.
It's not my face. It's Lee's space.
All right, so I will get back on that and try to close it out before our next live show. So that should be a fun thing for people to do. More fun than just listening to us yammer on.
Yeah, I do like the live shows. It was festive last time. Let's get 2024. Let's get at least 100 people watching next time. That's a goal. That's a goal.
Right? Wow.
100 people.
Okay. Let's do it.
I'm going to start putting flyers on telephone poles. Come watch our live show. All right, Fitz, I hope you feel better, buddy. Thanks again for kicking off the new year with me, and have fun at Georgetown, and I guess we'll see you guys in a week or two.
Okey-doke.
For our next show.
Yeah. Thanks for listening / watching and sticking with us, and Happy New Year to everybody. And don't forget, what was the thing we requested people to chime in? Oh, if you have any weird New Year's traditions.
Yeah, and traditions, yeah.
And also, what the heck did you do for flying on New Year's Eve / New Year's Day?
Yeah.
So, yeah, let us know.
Terry, you close it up. I think Fitz is ready to go take a nap.
All right. I don't think I've ever done the closure before. So be sure to like and subscribe our YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and OnlyFans. And thanks for listening to us. And we do appreciate you being part of our crew. So we'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Please visit our website at rcroundtable.com. That's where you will find all of our podcast episodes. You can also find a little bit of background information about the show host and leave comments and suggestions about the show. There are links to a few of our favorite vendors and also links to our various social media accounts. Thank you for watching and listening.